Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about AP Human Geography, whether you should take it or not, what's the pros and cons, what is it like, what is AP Human Geography, all the details. I'm going to go down to a real basic level and just kind of give a full overview because this video is kind of directed towards if you're kind of considering taking it at your high school but you're not sure, if you don't really know what it is. This will help you, and also I'm going to talk about what AP means too, not just Human Geography. So anyway, I'm going to give you guys my experience. I just finished taking this class, so I thought it would be a good time to make a video about it. So yeah. Okay, so obviously my experience with it and my exact stuff that I went through with it isn't going to be the exact same as your experience. Obviously, you know, it's a different high school, different teacher, different lesson plan, all that stuff. So just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not trying to say this is exactly how it's going to go for you, but anyway, so now that I've cleared that up, we'll talk about what AP is. So AP, like I just said, stands for Advanced Placement. And sorry if I'm looking down, I have some notes written down just so I don't get off topic. So AP is Advanced Placement, so it's Advanced Placement Human Geography. And AP, basically, if you're taking an AP class, it basically means that you're taking a college level class in high school. But the difference is it's not as quick as a college class, because college classes take 1 semester, whereas you get a whole school year to take the class. So if you took Human Geography in college, you would have 1 semester, whereas if you're taking AP Human Geography at your high school, you have a whole year to take it. So it's a little bit different in that aspect, but it is supposed to be college level work that you're doing. That's kind of what Advanced Placement means. It means that it's at a college level. So yeah, but it's not quite as difficult as taking it in college because it's not as fast paced and you have more time. So that's what AP means. And basically, if you take an AP class, at the end of the school year, you will take an AP exam for that subject or for that class that you took. So basically, AP tests are nationally administered for that subject. So the AP Human Geography test is administered all over the country, all over the world. There's an international version of it too, for worldwide, and it's all over, America. Everywhere administers it that has a high school that offers it. So it's kind of like the SAT or ACT, where it's everywhere. So basically there's a test date. It's at the end of the school year in May. Mine was on May 13th. So for example, on May 13th, everyone in the country took the AP exam, and it's at the same time. It's at 8 a.m. Well, that's what it was for me, but it could be a different year, but it was at 8 a.m. everywhere in the country, May 13th. So it's kind of like the SAT or ACT in that aspect, where it's starts at a certain time, it's timed, everyone is taking the same test, but there's also a late test and a late test, which are different. So yeah, that's what an AP test is, and that will be true for any AP class, not just this one. As far as the actual test, it is 75 multiple choice questions that you have 1 hour to answer. And then the next section is 3 free response questions that you have 75 minutes to answer. So the whole test is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. And you'll get a short break between the between the multiple choice and between the multiple choice and the free response. So you do the multiple choice first, and then you have a little break usually, and then a 5-minute break to go to the bathroom or something, and then you take the free response section. So basically, if you're wondering why do you take the AP test, what does that do? So the AP test basically is for college credit. So because AP classes are college level, and it's almost like taking a college class just with more time, you can get college credit for them if you pass the AP exam. So that's kind of the whole purpose of taking it, basically, is to try to get college credit. That's pretty much the only reason you would try to take it. and it costs about $90 to take the test. I think that's how much it was for me. So I think the prices change from year to year though, and it's created by the College Board, and like I said, it's for college credit. And you might think, okay, $90 sounds kind of expensive, but you're getting, I think you get 3 college credits for it. It might depend on your school that you're looking at, but you get college credits, which if you were taking classes for those credits at a college, they would be way more expensive. It would be like thousands of dollars depending on how many credits it is. So $90 is very cheap considering that. So in order to get college credit from the AP exam, you have to pass it. So AP exams are scored on a 1 to 5 scale, so above a 3 passes. A 3 or above. So if you got a 3, a 4, or a 5, you would be passing. And if you don't pass, if you're wondering like what happens if you don't pass, nothing happens. The scores don't even come back until school is over, so it doesn't go into your grade in the class. Your teacher's not going to know your grade before the school year is over. So it doesn't affect your class grade at all. Doesn't affect you negatively. No one needs to know if you failed it. You don't have to tell a college like, oh, I took AP Human Geography, but I failed it, or but I failed the AP exam. The only thing they're going to see on your transcript is your grade in the class from your high school. But if you want to get credit for it, you can put, your score, and they can give you those credits. But you don't have to, so nothing happens to you if you don't pass it. You just don't get college credit. So that's what AP is. That's what the AP test is. So we'll move on from that. So now, what is Human Geography? So Human Geography is a type of geography class, obviously. So I'm going to read you the definition from my textbook. I wanted to film this video a few days before school actually ends, so I would still have these to show in this video. So I'm going to read the definition that they give, because they probably say it better than I do. So, the field of human geography focuses on how people make places, how we organize space in society, how we interact with each other in places and across space, and how we make sense of others and ourselves in our localities, regions, and the world. So that definition might seem kind of confusing. That was the same definition that was on the course packet when I was looking at Human Geography to sign up for. So that might be kind of confusing, but I'm going to tell you about what the units are and what you do. Okay, so the units that you would have for taking AP Human Geography, obviously, teachers might call these units something slightly different, but these are or they might combine units, but these are the units that they have to teach because in order for the class to be an AP class that you can take and then have on your transcript as an AP class and have to take the AP test, it has to be the lesson plan that the teacher writes up has to be approved by the College Board. So these are the units that they require that the teacher cover in their lesson plan. So all teachers teach these units if they're teaching AP Human Geography. So the first unit is Geography. It's Nature and Perspectives. The next unit is Population and Migration. The next is Cultural Patterns and Processes. The next one is Political Organization of Space. And the next one is Agriculture, Food Production, and Rural Land Use. The next one is Industrialization and Economic Development. And the last one is Cities and Urban Land Use. So your teacher, like I said, might combine these units or call them something slightly different, but they do have to cover these topics in order for their class to be certified as an AP class. Or as an AP Human Geography class, and that's true for any AP class. It has to be approved as far as the lesson plan goes. So those are the units, and basically what you'll do is you'll have the unit. So let's say it's the agriculture unit. So you'll have that unit and you'll do assignments that your teacher creates for it. It's obviously going to vary between school to school. And then at the end of the unit, you will do basically a unit test, and the unit test will be like an AP test. So you'll have some multiple choice questions that are timed. It might not be 75, it might be less. So you'll have a multiple choice test, and then you'll have a free response test for that unit. And again, your teacher might not have you do 3 free responses, you could do less. So that's kind of how the structure of the class works. You go through the units, and you take a unit test at the end of them. It's pretty typical to most classes. You have a unit, take a test. Most teachers, or my teacher at least, didn't have quizzes. It was just taking those unit tests. So yeah, that's what human geography is. So hopefully that was helpful, just to kind of hear about what the units are and what you do in the class. So you might be thinking now, like, would I be able to take this class? Is it going to be too hard for me? How do I know if I'm ready to take it? Like, what do I do? So basically, I personally think that, and this is what my teacher says too, is that you should have experience in geography before you take this class. So for example, last school year I took world geography, which is a really good prereq for this class. And some schools might require that you take that before, or might require that there's a specific geography class that you take before human geography. Mine didn't require it, but they recommended world geography and world history. So just kind of think about to yourself right now, like, what geography experience do I have? Or if I don't have any, is there any classes I could take to prepare for this, or any that I do have to take to prepare for this, or to be able to take it? So think of those things and kind of write that down, or just think of it in your head. And then if you're still not sure, or you maybe want some clarification on what's required, if there's a prerequisite class, or if you're just still not sure, you should talk to the teacher of the class. So figure out who teaches AP Human Geography at your school and talk to the teacher. You know, ask if you can meet with them and just say you have some questions about AP Human Geography, and they can kind of tell you what they think and if they recommend it for you. So that's what I would do. And also I think, you know, you might want college credit for it, and that could be a reason to take it too, but I think you shouldn't just take it for college credit. You should have some interest in it, and have not just interest, but you have to have the motivation to work on it, because it is a college level class. It is, you know, going to be at a faster pace than regular high school classes, and it's going to be hard. I mean, it is a challenging course, even if you're really good at geography. Like, I'm really good at geography and social studies, and it still was a challenge for me. So it is a difficult class, so you have to have motivation, kind of like an end goal for taking it, even if that just is that you have a passion for it, like a really deep interest in it, or, you know, whatever it is. Like, you have to have a reason to be taking it, or you're not going to be motivated to do so. So kind of think about why you might want to take it. What would be your motivation factor? So yeah, just kind of think about all those factors, talk to the teacher, think to yourself what experience you have, what experience do you need, all those type of things. You could make a list if you want to. Now I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, just to kind of give you a little quick outline instead of having to pick and pull them from everything else I've said. I'm just going to kind of give you them right now in kind of a straightforward sense. So the pros, I would say, are obviously you can get college credit if you pass the AP exam. It looks good on a college application to have taken an AP class, whether or not you pass the AP test or not, or take it or whatever. Whether or not you do or not, your your high school transcript will still say that you took AP Human Geography. And that looks good to colleges, that you took an AP class. So that's another positive thing. It just can give you a better understanding of the way the world works, and kind of how humans have evolved and developed and shaped the world into what it is today. It just, you know, it's very applicable to regular life versus, like, you know, really obscure trigonometry and math or something. It's more applicable to daily life. You see human geography a lot in day-to-day life, so it's kind of interesting to be educated in it. So that can be a pro. And it can be nice to challenge yourself to take an AP class, not just because it looks good on a college application, but just to challenge yourself mentally. If you find high school classes to kind of be easier for you and you don't have to challenge yourself as much, it can be nice to have a harder class to take to prepare you for college, and just to give yourself a challenge. So those are the pros. And the cons, I would say, are that it is a hard class. You know, even if you're really good at geography, it can be really difficult. and you have to really keep up with it, and I think the tests can be pretty difficult. You know, like the multiple choice for me is pretty hard. You know, when I would take the multiple choice unit tests, they were really hard for me, and I didn't always do very good on them because I just found them to be very difficult, and I'm just not very good at multiple choice. So for me, that's a con, but that maybe you're really good at multiple choice. But I have heard from a lot of people that the multiple choice is really hard for them. Like everybody in my class struggled with it. I have friends that took it elsewhere in the country that it was hard for them too. So it just you know, that might not apply to you, but it might. And the free responses can be hard too. I think for me they're a little bit easier, but they can be difficult. So keep that in mind. That might be a con. The tests might be hard, and they are kind of, you know, they are for every unit. And you might also just do extra practice tests in preparation for the AP exam that your teacher might grade. So you might have more than just the unit ones as you get closer to the AP testing date. And another con would be, you know, if you don't pass the AP exam, then you don't get college credit. So if that was like a big part of your goal, then that can be kind of disappointing. And then also, I just wanted to throw in here really quickly, this is another kind of, I guess, possible pro, but it's not going to be for everybody. So for example, at my high school, if you take AP Human Geography, you don't have to take Global Issues, which is normally a class that you are required to take to graduate high school. So it could be nice to, you know, if you already wanted to take Human Geography, then you don't have to take Global Issues on top of that. So yeah. So your school might have a class similar to Global Issues, or another type of class that's similar to AP Human Geography, where if you take it, you don't have to take the other class. And then there also can be other AP classes where they waive the requirement of a different class that's normally required. So you could look into that if you were curious, but that can be another possible pro for taking it. So again, these pros and cons are going to vary between person to person. I just wanted to share my personal pros and cons, but again, yours can be different. But hopefully this video was helpful. I hope it answered questions and kind of gave you an idea of what to expect if you take this class.